or visit mutualfundstore.com. For a limited time, receive a free retirement guide and free portfolio review. Call 1-888-501-5042 today.
Okay, you want to go fishing. She wants you to paint the house. You want to play golf. She wants you to paint the house. You both want to take a vacation, but who's going to paint the house? Key Homes, that's who, at 386-6084. You make that one important call, and now you go fishing, and Key Homes paints the house. You play golf, Key Homes paints. You both go on vacation, Key Homes goes fishing. Just kidding on that. For painting, roofing, remodeling, and other home services, Key Homes, 386-6084.
Springtime is your time to trade and upgrade at all Landers Auto Group locations in South Haven, Collierville, and Memphis. You can trade in today and drive away in a new vehicle for less than you're currently paying. Visit LandersMemphis.com now because if it
I need the little crossing girl. I miss him. I do. I'm scared. Where's my girl with the black hair and the really white teeth? Where is she? Oh my God, I'm on my own. What will I do? Okay, I'm good. I don't even have to go 15.
Ashamed of themselves for allowing this kind of crap to happen.
Look, as we know, is something best served with
See you
cheese.
tomorrow.
So let me be clear. I do not want, nor will I accept the nomination for our party.
I want them to be astonished that there was ever a time when a woman had never sat in the Oval
Boy
Office.
pulled in front of a school bus. He got an arrow. What did he have?
The revolution.
Sean Hannity Show. More behind-the-scenes information on breaking news and more bold, inspired solutions for America.
What I do expect to happen is this, is that if Donald Trump exceeds 1,100 votes, he will become the nominee, even though he may not have 1237. If he gets less than 1,000 delegates, then I think we're looking at a contested convention that could go on for many, many days. And then in the middle, there's that gray area between 1,000 and 1,100. And that's where the unbound delegates, or the delegates that have been released by other candidates, come into play to see if there are enough of those to get either Cruz or Trump over the finish line.
The rules are that each state has to submit their plan for releasing delegates by October 1st of 2015. That happened. And then the RNC released those plans to the whole world and all of the campaigns, put it out on a website. We've got, obviously, there's another website called conventionfacts.gop. And all of these things are there. It's date by date, contest by contest. There's nothing mysterious about this.
All right, that was attorney Randy Evans, and he's been on the Rules Committee throughout the years, and also Reince Priebus, the chairman of the RNC, who is with us now. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great, Sean. Thanks for having me.
So Randy's comments, I've known Randy many, many years, going back to my Georgia days, and he's a smart guy, knows the process, and his actual comment was if Donald Trump or anybody exceeds 1,100 delegates, they'll become the eventual nominee, even though they may not have 1237, and he's talking about bound delegates, non-bound delegates, and people not committed, etc. Do you agree with him?
Well, I don't agree with the abridged version that doesn't take the whole context. What Randy's saying, I talked to Randy today, and I know what he's saying. I knew exactly what he was saying, and I told him when we talked on the phone, this is what you meant, right? He's 100%. No, you need 1237. He's not
disputing that.
Right. I mean, what he's saying is, in his opinion, if a candidate's at 1,100 or 1,150, he's saying there should be enough unbound delegates, meaning people that are not bound to a particular candidate, so that one of the candidates will be able to try to talk some of those folks in to voting for them on the first ballot,
Is that what he
so that you can get to the 1237, not disputing the fact that you need a majority to actually become the nominee. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Well, look, there's a lot of angry
Then why
people
didn't
out
he
here,
say
and
that?
let me just look
I
at
don't
the
remember
Angry
that
people
shit.
everywhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of angry people everywhere. By the way, I said on the air yesterday, you know the last person I'd want to be? Reince Priebus. I said I wouldn't want that job for a million years. All right, but this is, but you know what, people...
It's not as horrible as it sounds.
Here's what I think going forward, before we get into the specifics of where we are and the hypotheticals that I'll lay out for you, there's one thing that I think, having now gone over every single state and every state's rules and unbound and bound delegates, and we have caucuses, we have primaries, and the whole thing gets very confusing. Now, I like the idea of states having their input and their say, but it is a national party, correct?
It's a national party, but each individual state has a right to decide how they distribute their own delegates.
Tell me, but couldn't they, for example, couldn't there be some process where the people don't get to vote in mass? They don't get to primary, they don't get to caucus, and, you know, the average person's not going to be able to figure out how to become a delegate in Colorado. They're too busy.
Well, okay, so in Colorado, for example, it's a convention process, and at the precinct level, a month ago, people showed up at their precincts, and apparently over 60,000 people participated. Then they went to the county caucuses after that, and then they went to the congressional district caucuses after that. All of the candidates were participating. Then they went to the state convention and participated that way. So this was hardly some, you know...
Okay, but in total, but there could have been as many as, what, 1 million people, Republicans in Colorado that voted, and at the end of the day, at the end of the day, 65,000 people maybe participated.
Well, that's right, but that's the state's right to choose the form that
I got it, but that's why I'm saying I don't like that system.
Right, okay, but
but because it's a national party, at some point, there's so much confusion with bound and unbound, and once you get out of the primary or the caucus realm and you get to the convention realm, nobody has a clue what's going on, and the people feel disenfranchised. You don't agree with that?
No, I don't disagree that when people are, you know, for the first time in decades, people are actually looking at how nominations are won and lost, and it can be confusing, especially for just instantly people watching it. I've said many times, if you look at my history on this subject, my preferred method of choosing a nominee is a closed primary. So in other words, you have voter registration where Republicans are voting in a particular state. I've been very clear that that's my preferred method, but I also don't get to, from Washington, D.C., tell, you know, the state of Wyoming that I don't like the way that you do a convention and therefore you should change. Now, the Rules Committee at the convention can examine all of these things and come up with a, you know, reform that they would like to see happen. And that's sort of what we did over the last 4 years. Right. Not as big as what you're advocating, but certainly these are the things that a Rules Committee is able to do.
The reason I think that there's so much angst out there, and this maybe is something you can help us, it was former Speaker of the House, John Boehner, who talked about and floated the name Paul Ryan, and Paul Ryan yesterday said, I do not want, said one of the people running. You did not definitively say Trump or Cruz.
Well, because ultimately it's up to the delegates and the voters.
Have you ever noticed that?
As close as I can possibly say, that I find and at the time it was the Paul Ryan discussion, that to be the most impossible thing. And I also said it's highly, maybe another highly unlikely that it would be someone that isn't in the field. So, you know, that's as far as I can go. But
define in the field. No, you have to define in the field. Does in the field mean 17 people that ran in the beginning?
No, I just think it's probably, my sense is it's one of the 3 people that are running that will be the nominee.
I don't want to be a pain in your neck, but I'm going to be a pain. What do you mean, my senses? You're the RNC chair. I think people want to know, is it...
I can't predict the future. I think I've been an educated guess, but I don't have any feel for what definitively is going to happen 3 months from now, although I agree with you that Trump and Cruz have a tremendous advantage And if they get to the 1237 before the convention, which are the only two that can, then one of the two is going to be the nominee of the party, guaranteed, full stop.
Okay, but it's because of again, I'm just wondering, because look at the rules, for example, in Pennsylvania. I think the winner gets, 17 delegates, and then some 50-some-odd delegates are unbound.
Yeah, well, it's a very different system. I mean, they're not...
I know, but that system is insane to me. I mean, why shouldn't every delegate be bound to the people that vote them?
If you thought Pennsylvania was insane today, you should have been screaming that it was insane 4 years ago and 8 years ago and 24 years ago.
Well, North Dakota, there's not one bound delegate, for crying out loud.
They're very rare. There's a few states, I think...
but as a national party, don't you think it's a good idea if you put forth a recommendation that said, here are the parameters in which states can choose. You can be a caucus state, you can be a primary state. You can be proportional distribution, you can be winner take all. You can even be, proportional and congressional district. You can have a certain number of delegates assigned to the winner of the whole state. But after that,
the delegation write the rules, Sean. The convention rules committee writes the rules. The RNC, the RNC members do not write the rules that you're referring to. Those are the decisions that the delegates at the convention, they write the rules. And they decide those questions of what order we're going to go in, winner take all, proportionality, unbound, bound, primary, caucus. If the rules committee decides that from here on out, we're going to only recognize states that have a primary system and it being closed. They could do
I don't want to hurt the Lincoln,
proportionality. They could do. They could recommend about anything you can imagine. Then the majority of delegates on the floor would then have to approve or disprove that.
Okay,
Isn't it nuts that the rules for 2016 aren't written until the primary's over? I think that's a little nuts.
Well, you know what? I get where you're coming from, and I'm not disagreeing with you. Other than you have to think about the history of what a convention is. Like, we forget that the word